All right, so welcome everybody. My name is Kim, and I am one of the project leads in HELP with the MDI project. And I'm here together with my colleague, so Merritt Gilbert. She's also one of the project leads, and our very new project coordinator, Amanda, our amazing Amanda. So we will be your team in the MDI help desk. So if you have any questions, I'm sure some of you have already emailed us or we've talked to you on the phone. So please feel free to connect with us if you have any questions about the MDI. So the webinar today will take approximately 30 to 40 minutes, and we'll make sure that we have questions or time for questions at the very end. This webinar is also being recorded so that if you would like to share this later on with any of your school staff who will be helping administer the MDI, you can for sure do that. We'll make sure that the link is available to you in the next couple of days or so. Okay, so before I begin, I'm just going to make sure that I have my camera turned off here so that you can see my slide. Okay. Okay, perfect. So let's go over what the webinar is going to be about today. So first, I will do a brief introduction of the MDI, sort of like an MDI 101. And of course, we realize that most of you are logged in today to learn how to administer the MDI in your school. So we're going to do that as well, and we'll really focus on that. And then at the very end, we'll give you a quick, we'll show you a few of the resources that will be helpful for you as you prepare for MDI administration. First, and before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that HELP and UBC are located in the traditional, ancestral, unceded territory of the Musqueam people. We offer our sincere gratitude and really appreciation to the Musqueam Nation for allowing us to work and study each day on their traditional territory. So we are a part of HELP, or the Human Early Learning Partnership, which is a collaborative interdisciplinary research network that is based in the University of British Columbia, and it focuses on child development. Our vision is all children thriving in healthy societies. So to start with a brief overview of the MDI and who we are at HELP. So at HELP, we have this, maybe this is already familiar to you as well. We have a monitoring system wherein we collect data from children's experiences and development through this system. This is a series of questionnaires that gather information from different perspectives of children from pre-kindergarten through to grade 11. But today, we will focus on the MDI, or the Middle Years Development Instrument. So what is the MDI? MDI is a self-report survey for children in grades 4 to 8. As of 2020, we started offering the MDI to grades 5, 6, and 8, in addition to 4 and 7. And we have really seen that a lot of schools and districts have really taken us up on this offer. And why do we focus on these grades, you may ask? This is a time between the ages of 9 to 13, which is really a transitional period in development for children. There's increased risk at this time, but also there is increased opportunity for all of us to make a difference. These ages are particularly important to be able to prevent problems before they arise in the future. The MDI was developed by a UBC research team led by Dr. Kim Schonert-Reichel, with input from children, from parents, teachers, and community groups. The questions were assembled from surveys previously used and validated with children. The thing that makes MDI unique is that it reflects children's voices, right? So their input gives us data we couldn't otherwise access, like their thoughts, their feelings, their daily routines. The MDI tells us that what children believe matters to us, and that their answers can help us make changes to support their well-being. Children feel very much empowered when they know and when they're confident that their thoughts and their perspectives are being taken seriously by the adults in their lives. And the self-report nature of the MDI upholds Article 12 of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. The MDI is a population-based survey, so it means it tells us more about groups and neighborhoods and broader geographic regions, and it is never used to evaluate teachers or schools. It allows us to see population trends in children's well-being. So why is the MDI important? The MDI allows us to see trends in how children are doing over time, and the MDI results provide educators, parents, researchers, even community organizations and policymakers with information about the psychological and social worlds of children during the middle childhood. And this time period in childhood, we didn't have a lot of information about this phase or time period, which is really a part of the reason why MDI was developed. So middle childhood is a time of transition, not just physically, because we know they're entering puberty, but also cognitively, they're becoming more self-aware and aware of others. Socially, their worlds begin expanding. They have their connections to their peers are more important. And academically, children begin receiving grades and facing pressure to succeed. So that's why the MDI is so important, because what happens during this time really sets children up for how they will handle adolescence and adulthood. We also know from research on resiliency that relationships are central to children's healthy development. So relationships and connections with peers, with adults at home, school, and community are also part of the MDI measures. It looks at multiple contexts, meaning we ask children about their lives, both inside and outside of school. So the information is relevant for communities, for families, and for schools. It looks at the development of a whole child. So it really looks at a holistic view. The MDI gives us insight into areas that have great significance in children's lives. It is not just evaluating academic progress. The MDI gives children an opportunity to communicate their experiences, their feelings, and their wishes. So this is the MDI dimensions. The MDI measures area of development strongly linked to well-being. So we don't have much time to really look at this in detail, but Amanda can share with you a link if you would like to look at the MDI dimensions, or if you want to learn more about the MDI in your own time in the future, you can look at this website and all of the information is there for you. Right, and of course, we strive to make sure that the MDI is current, that is scientifically rigorous, and that the information collected on the survey reflects the experiences and perspectives of today's children and youth. So one piece of good news for this year, for our survey, is that our survey is shorter. We have removed questions, but of course, maintaining coverage across the 5 dimensions of the MDI. So you will notice it used to be for grades 6, 7, and 8. There's 101 items in the questionnaire, but now it's down to 79. For grades 4 to 5, used to be 77 questions, and now we have 71 questions. So all of these updates is available in the instructional survey that hopefully has already been shared with you, or is also available in the admin portal website. So another thing that's an update about the MDI questionnaire is that we have revised the out of school section. So we have broadened the time frame in which we ask children about the organized and free time activities, not just from after school period, which was from 3 to 6 p.m., but now we have broadened it to any time outside of school. As you know, because the MDI is also now in grade 8, many of the activities take place usually after dinner. So we wanted to make sure that we also capture that. Of course, we did not just remove questions without also adding some new questions. We strive to make sure that the MDI is current. So this year we have added a question on daily physical activity, climate and environmental concerns, and also social media use. This is something I am also personally very interested in. So that question was only added to the grades 6, 7, and 8 survey. We have also added a question on racial and ethnic background to the demographic section of the survey. As we know, race and ethnicity is an important component of personal identity. So the race and ethnicity question has been piloted in this age group with Dr. Kim Schoner-Treichel last year. This is just a slide to show you that the MDI has been around for so long, like 12 years, and we have grown. Each year we've been growing, and right now the total overall participation that we've had with the MDI is like we have collected 205,469 data altogether for all of those years. Right, so that was just a brief outline of the MDI. I know you're all here to learn more about the steps and the how-tos. So let's look at what survey administration will look like at your schools. So a couple of key messages before regarding the MDI to really start us off. So the privacy of children, of families, is really important for us. So all of the information that is collected is kept confidential and used for statistical purposes only. And all information is kept at HELP, and no child or teacher is ever identified in any of our reporting. Participation is voluntary. So parents and guardians receive information 4 weeks prior to survey administration. It has the outline of the details of participating in the MDI, and they can choose to withdraw their kids by contacting either the classroom teacher, or sometimes they will return the withdrawal form to the classroom teacher. So that's the last page of the parent letter. Parents are also able to email us directly if they would like to withdraw their child. Students may opt out at any time, even after they have completed the survey. So we have an assent script that is read out loud at the beginning of the survey that outlines all of these options to the students. We also have a withdrawal button that is at the bottom of every page of the survey. So even though the student is completing the survey, if at any time in the middle of it, they decide they would like to withdraw, there's a withdrawal button and there that is easily accessible to them so that they can withdraw at any time. Of course, to assist with providing information to parents and answering questions they may have, we have a parent FAQ page for most commonly asked questions. Really a great resource, not just for parents, but also for school staff, for principals, and for teachers. And of course, if, for example, parents have further questions, they can also contact us directly. We are providing you with this one great resource we call the MDI Questions Brief, and this brief really serves two purposes. So number one, this gives parents more information about the MDI and the kind of questions that we ask. So one feedback we have heard from parents is that they want to be prepared with the questions that their kids might come home with. So this brief describes some of the questions and the rationale in more detail. This resource can also be used as a reminder for parents in January that the MDI is happening in their schools. We know that ideally we say that the parent letters go out before Christmas. So this is just a great reminder for them come January that the MDI is actually happening in their schools for their children. All right, so another resource, this time this is really for the survey administrators. A resource that I would like to point out to you is something that we call our timeline and checklist. This is really just a quick one-pager. It has reminders of what you need to do prior to administering the survey. So as you can see here, for example, you can already put a check mark on the first item there, attend a training webinar. And so this one is also available for you, one pager, really quick and easy. It has all the links that you also need in terms of a quick training video that's just about 5 minutes, and also all of the other stuff that you will need to prepare for administration. We'll go through some of them in detail in the next few slides. Okay, so MDI administration steps. So I have divided this into two sections. So one will start with what do we need to prepare prior to the MDI survey administration. And then the second section will look at what we actually need to do on the day of administering the survey in your classrooms, in your schools. So before MDI administration, ideally maybe a week ahead, it's best to inform your students as well that the MDI is happening and that they're taking the MDI, say, for example, next week or whenever you would like to schedule it. This is to make sure that they also are aware that they are taking the survey and that they're also prepared for it. So another thing to help you prepare is to review helpful materials. So some of these materials are already available to you. So we have the MDI Survey Administrator Checklist. So that's the one that I just showed you a while ago, which is a one-pager. It has all the steps to administer the MDI. We also have the Survey Administration Guide. So this outlines all of the steps to MDI administration, but this one in much more detailed version. So it has all the screenshots and all the steps. If there's anything that you need to do to prepare. We also have the MDI instructional survey. This is used on the day of MDI administration to assist your teachers or principals in guiding students throughout the survey. So again, the materials have already been emailed to your MDI lead. So if you don't have a copy yet, please connect with your MDI lead so that they can share this with you. Okay, so on the day before your MDI administration, there are some things that you can already do in order to prepare. So we have two things here that we're going to look at. So number one, the password reset email, and number two, to log in the eMDI so that you can review your class lists and print your student logins. So we really recommend that you log in at least a few days before you plan to administer the survey so that you can review the class list, print your passwords, and also withdraw some of the students if they have returned those withdrawal slips to you. Okay, so password reset email. So the password reset emails were sent to all the principals earlier today. So when you log in, we ask if you can please check that we have the correct teachers in the classes according to who will be helping you administer the survey. So if you need anyone that needs to be rearranged with the teachers or anyone that needs to be added in, please email us and we can help you with that. So this is a sample of the password reset email that you will receive. All you need to do is click on that link so that you can create your own password. And then later on, if you need to log back in again, all you need to do is just type in www.mdi.ubc.ca and log in from there. So what it looks like, you'll see this login page. All you need to do is click on the teacher administrator login and you type in your school email address and the password of your choice. And when you hit login, you will get to the homepage of the eMDI system. So the first thing that you will see when you log in is this pop-up reminder regarding parent letters being sent home. So this really just serves as another reminder to make sure that the parent letters were sent home to parents and that they have time to learn about the MDI before it actually takes place in your school. So for example, if you have sent your parent letters home before Christmas break, all you need to do is just add the date in that box right over there and just hit or click on submit. Now, if, for example, you have not sent your letters home yet, there's still time to do it. So for example, if your letters go home this week, all you need to do is count 4 weeks after. So it means around first week of February, you'll be able to administer the survey in your school. So the only important thing to remember there is that there's 4 weeks from when the letter goes home and when you schedule to do the MDI survey in your schools. If, for example, you can't remember, you don't know the date, the system really will not dismiss you. It will still let you log in, But of course, it will keep on popping up every time you log in until you fill in the date when the letters actually went home. We also realize, of course, the time before winter break is really busy and it's easy to forget to send home those letters. So this is really just a reminder to make sure that you don't lose any time or that you don't run out of time after the break to get those letters home, and you can still do the survey in January or February. All right, so we put in, for example, we know when we sent home our letters, we put in that date in there. So this is the next thing that you will see when you log in. So one thing that I would like for you to focus on also is that left-hand navigation panel where you see the numbers 1 and 2. So for reviewing your class list, all you need to do is click on number 1, add and withdraw students. So when you click in here, you will see your school, you will see your classroom, and you will see the class list. So this is the part where you can, for example, if you see there's a missing student who has already been in your classroom, should say for 30 days, but they're not in the list. So this is where you can add them in. All you need to do is click on options, click add student, and it will ask for a few more information about the student. And then you can add that student in so that they are in your class list. This is also the place where you can, for example, the one that I mentioned, if you have received some of the withdrawal slips from the parents when you sent out the parent letters, this is also the section where you can withdraw these students. So all of the details that you need for adding and withdrawing students are actually available in the administrator guide, which you have access to. It has all the screenshots and the steps in order for you to do this. So one thing that you might notice when you also log in is that some students may have already been withdrawn when you review your class list. So we often receive emails directly from parents withdrawing their children, and sometimes they forget to let the school or the teacher know. So when you log in and you see that red withdrawn button next to a student, it just means that you will not be able to generate a login for them, or it means they will not be participating in the MDI survey. Okay, so for example, we have reviewed our class list. We're done with that number 1 button on your left-hand navigation panel. So next, what we can do to prepare for survey administration is to go to step 2, unlock survey and print password. And this is where you can have access to all the student logins that you need to distribute on the day of survey administration. So the only thing to remember here and to look at here is to click on the right-hand green button right there that says print student logins. So when you click on that, there's a new tab that will appear on your browser that looks like this. So this will have all of your students log in that they will need on the day of administration so that they can access the survey. So beforehand, even for example, a week before, now that you have access to the EMDI system, you can log in and look at this tab or list of your student logins. You can print this off and you can cut it into cards now so that they're ready to be distributed to your students on day of administration. Okay, all right. So we have prepared. We've told our students a week ahead that we're doing the MDI. We have received our password reset emails. We've reset our password. We have access to the system. We know we've reviewed our class list. The teachers in there are all set. We know when we're going to administer the survey. We have printed out all of our student logins, cut them into cards. Everything is prepped and ready. So what do we do on the day, actual day of MDI administration? So you will need about 1 to 2 class periods to administer the MDI. So one class period is about 45 minutes, and really it depends on the grade. Of course, the younger grades, They will usually need 2 class periods to complete it, but older grades, typically 1 class period is enough for them. Please allow 10 to 15 minutes for your students to log in the survey. For all of the other steps right here, we'll go through them in detail in the next few slides. Perfect. So we've logged in, everything is ready. We're now ready for the kids to log in. So to really protect the security of the student logins, the students can only access the survey when it has been unlocked. So you see that blue button that right there that says unlock survey. So on the day of, all you need to do is click on unlock survey, and this will automatically unlock the survey for 4 hours. So it means, for example, if you'd like to do the survey at say 9 o'clock, and by like 8 o'clock you're preparing everything, you can already log in there, unlock the survey, and this will stay unlocked for 4 hours. So it means if you do it at 9, students will still be able to log in, they will be able to do the survey. And if, for example, you do finish early, you can always go back in and lock the survey again. So one question that we get from this is, can we do this as often as we need? The answer to that is yes. So you can unlock the survey as often as needed. So for example, you did it today, some of your students didn't finish and they would like to do it the next day. All you need to do is just collect all of the logins again. The next day you can unlock the survey, distribute the logins to those kids who haven't finished. And when they log in, it will bring them to the page that they left off. They don't have to start from scratch. So you can do that. And then, for example, if there's some kids who are absent on the day of and you would still they wanted to do the survey, you can still unlock it at a different time. So really, you can do this however many times you need. Right, and there's also that green button at the very middle that says preview survey. You can also look at the same survey as what the students are doing by clicking on that button, and you can see the questions that they're going through and take the survey with them so that you know which pages are they at or if they have any questions. So that's also there for you to access if ever you do need it. Okay, so then we're doing the survey today. You have unlocked the survey. The next thing to do is to prepare your computer lab or your classroom. So one question we get all the time is, what can we use for the survey? So the survey actually works well in desktops, in laptops, tablets, even Chromebooks or iPads. The best browser to use is Chrome or Firefox, or Safari is also good. So the thing that is very important to remember is to please prepare your classroom or your computer lab under test conditions. So please make sure, for example, that there are spaces between the students if possible. Also have a classroom set of headphones available so that if, for example, a student wants to use the read aloud function that is available in the survey, they will be able to do that. We have an optional voiceover on the survey. Also, please prepare an alternate activity related to classroom activity for those students who are not participating. One thing or one tip that we have is we suggest that you write the website address on the board for all to see. So for example, you can write down on the board www.mdi.ubc.ca so that kids know which website to go to. Or if, for example, the Chromebooks are already set up in the classroom and you are able to just open the browser right away and make sure that it's in that login page, that's also perfect. We recommend as well informing the school counselor that the survey is taking place just in case anything arises for a student and they wish to speak further about it. Okay, so this is what the student login looks like. So this is what your students will see. If you have distributed the student logins to the kids, all they need to do is just type in the numbers, which stands as their username, and the passwords that they can see on the cards that you have cut out from the student logins in the system. And when they click login, they will just be able to get in the survey right away, and they'll be able to do it with you with you in the classroom. Okay, so to administer the survey, we really recommend that you use the instructional survey to guide your students in completing the MDI. So it is identical to the online survey, except this one contains the assent script for you to read out loud before you start. So this assent script describes to the students what they will be doing, and this informs them that they can choose not to participate if they don't want to. So please read aloud the assent script so that students understand the purpose of the study, that the responses are confidential, and that participation for them is voluntary. After reading the assent script aloud, begin the survey by reading out some of the questions or the questions on the demographic section. So that's the section that says, please tell us a bit about yourself, and also the instruction section, answering the sample questions together. And then after that, they should be able, the students can read the questions on their own and maybe request assistance as needed. So please make sure that you have the instructional survey. As you can see, it also contains some tips and instructions throughout the pages, and it can help you if, for example, you encounter questions from your students. This is an example of the assent cartoon that students will see once they log in. So same thing, it will tell them that participation for them is voluntary, that their responses are confidential, and that that's not actually a test. We have also added a comprehensive list of Indigenous nations and languages in Canada at the end of the instructional survey as a reference for survey administrators to assist the students in responding to questions about their identity and languages learned, spoken at home on the MDI. So just a few tips while administering the survey. Please remain neutral and refrain from giving any additional comments. If, for example, a student asks a question about any particular item that is confusing for them, please do not provide your own interpretation to the student. Rather, it's best to reread the question to them, directing it to the individual student. And to ensure privacy and confidentiality, and to help the students feel that their answers are being kept private, we ask for you to please not look at the students' responses on their surveys while the students complete the survey. So at the very end of the survey, we have something that we call the Help for Students page. So the MDI asks questions to students that are rather sometimes personal, like how they think or how they feel, what their lives are like inside and outside of school, about their relationships. And because of this, it's critical to make sure that the students know they can speak to a caring adult at school if they are having any problems. Hence, they can press the first blue button that you see over there if they want to talk to their teacher or their principal. So we have also added here, so you can see the kids' help phone information. So if a student, for example, clicks on yes, I would like to talk to my teacher and principal, an email is sent directly to the classroom teacher and the principal with the name of the student that requested for help. So please follow your school protocol for following up with the students. You don't have to you don't have to let help know about the outcome of the follow-up. This is an example of what the email will look like if, for example, you receive one. It will have the name of the student and the background as to why you are receiving the email. And lastly, we love to hear from you, and we would like to know how we can improve the processes and the resources that we have for future years. And who else to best let us know? But of course, all of you who are administering the survey. So we'd appreciate your feedback on your experience with the MDI. This is also found in the administrator's guide. So there's the link is available there. The feedback is anonymous, and it will only be used to improve all the MDI administration resources and processes that we have. Lastly, if you would like to learn more about the MDI, we have a Discover MDI page. So this really contains a lot of materials in terms of maybe talking about the MDI in your schools. If you're new and you would just like to understand what the MDI is, we also have some quick sheets and PowerPoint templates if there's anything MDI related that you would like to do in your community and your schools. So we encourage you to please check out our website if ever you are interested to learn more about the MDI. Lastly, reports, they will be coming in the spring of 2023, and we will be giving you updates closer to the date so that you'll know how to access your reports and when to access them. Right, so thank you so much for joining us today. Here are our phone numbers. The MDI email is there. So if you have any questions in terms of adding a student in or anything that is MDI survey administration related, please email us and give us a call. Emailing us at mdi@help.ubc.ca is the best because all of us, Amanda, myself, and Merit, have access to this and we can help you right away. So thank you. If there are any questions, or Merit, if there are any questions, that'll be good to share with everybody.
Merit, it's Michelle. My chat was disabled, so I don't know, I couldn't put anything in. So I don't know if anyone in the group has a question. Maybe they could raise their hand because I wasn't able to let them know that I'd resend all of that information that you had put in there. But if anyone does have a question, maybe they can put their hand up.
Yeah, I wasn't able to fix that. So apologies for that. But I think if there are questions, and I know there was one hand raised, we could certainly unmute. We're not that big of a group. And I think that would be great to take, if there are questions right now, would be a good time to answer them. I should mention, I did reset passwords this morning for the whole board. Well, for the principals in your board. So we haven't yet sent the passwords to the teachers. We thought it was maybe a good idea, since we were meeting with the principals anyways, that you have a chance to log in and see if we have the correct teachers. There's still some classrooms. I am still working with Andrew to make sure we have the correct people in there, but you can also help me with that. And just basically, if you see something that needs fixing, a quick email to MDI with the name of the teacher, the classroom they should be attached to, or who should replace who, and also their email address, and we can quickly fix that for you. It really is what we do. So there's that. There was a great question about withdrawals, and I just want to mention it again too, because I do get a fair amount of withdrawals directly from parents. They email us because we ask them to in the parent letter, or we ask them to return the slip to the teachers. In most cases, I don't CC the teacher or the principal on my reply email to the parent. Partly because sometimes I think parents want to be private about it, but partly, and so they have not included the teacher, so I haven't done that. But when you log in, like Kim showed you, that red withdraw button, you can actually hover over that, and I think it will actually tell you that it's a parent withdrawal. And it's just that way, don't worry about it. It's all taken care of, and for whatever reason, that parent has decided their child should not participate. So we don't question, we just withdraw and thank them for the email. Mm-hmm. So I hope that clarifies that, but there is a way that those kids are marked, and also they are marked in a way that they can't be added back in. So there's no sort of workaround for that. Unless of course somebody withdraws by mistake, then we do have a workaround.
Yeah.
So yes, call us or, email us and we will for sure help you out. Okay, I see we have some raised hands. Let's see if we can figure this out. Oh, Michelle, was that you? I think I just unmuted. Who did I unmute? All I see is Trudeau. I'm sorry. That's like the only name I have for you.
That's Louise.
Oh,
Hi,
sorry,
Louise.
that was just an accident. I don't have anything to say. Thanks.
Okay. But there is also Elisa. Do you have a question?
I do. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
And I apologize if you said this. I had to step out briefly. I had a student who just started today, so they wouldn't have got the letter a few weeks ago before Christmas when I sent it. Do I just not have her participate, or can I send home the letter right away to the parents and have her participate at a later date, or how does that work?
Kim, do you want to answer or do you want me to answer?
Yeah, you can.
Well, you can send it home, but you can't
Yeah.
do the survey until 4 weeks from today.
Right. So I'd have to do it separate with her.
So if that's inconvenient, then
Just don't have her participate. Okay. I just want to make
it's
sure.
really
I thought
up
so.
to you. I mean, I know your board, like the reason you're doing this is also for your student survey, right? So if you really want to capture all students, then maybe you do just administer it because maybe you have kids sick or for whatever reason at your first time administering. If you had, say, 5, 6 more students, maybe it would be worthwhile to do it at a later time.
Yeah, and we have quite a few grades 7, 8, so I might do that and just because there's 200 of them, so there probably will be a lot away on the days that they're originally administered.
Right.
So
Right.
if we have a catch-all date a few weeks later, okay, I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Great question. And I should also mention, sometimes parents might come to you wanting to see the questions. And so if they come to us wanting to see the questions, we do share the questions. They are public. So, that's also often a good way for parents who really want to know more. They're more curious and want to know what their child is up to doing. So you can also send them to our website if that's the case.
Any
And
other questions?
Yeah, we'll stay on for another 5
Yeah.
minutes. If there are more questions as you think of this, we'll hang here and just thank you for participating and for showing up to the right Zoom room and all that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And just from Michelle, thank you. And thanks, Merritt and Kim and Amanda. And we do look forward to capturing all this great information that our principals are so adept at using. So thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you, Michelle.